Hey everyone, Kelly Dean Allen here with you again. Today we're going to have a look at how to play the classic Bad Company track Shooting Star from the band's 1975 album Straight Shooter. A track that incredibly was not released as a single from said album at the time because it's arguably one of the greatest tracks that the band ever wrote and recorded throughout their career. That said, today we're going to show you guys how to play it. Let's close it and get started. Good then, Shooting Star, Bad Company from 1975. We are in standard tuning for this tutorial. This one has one of the all-time great opening riffs that is not repeated throughout the rest of the track. It's just a little intro, but it's just instantly recognizable. Into the first verse. Very Hendrixy this, right? All double stops. We're starting with a little bar here on the 14th fret of the D and the G string, hammering onto 16 with our ring finger, and back off again. 16 of the D, right? All downstrokes, just like that. Then we're going to back it up to the 9s, a bar on the 9s, hammer onto 11, back to the bar. Exact same thing, right? Back it up 2 more spots, do the exact same thing. However, this time we're going to finish it. So coming off that bar on the 7s, hammering onto 9 back to the 7s, we're going to reach up there, grab a single note, 10th fret of the A string, and then shift the bar up to the A and the D string on the 7s, hammer back onto the 9 of the A. Right? Hitting 2 strings at the same time. And then we finish with this. Just hammering on from the bar on the A and the D onto the 9 and doing the same thing on the D and G string, hammering onto the 9 of the D and then releasing back off to the bar and then repeat. Right, and that leads into the first verse. So this is all acoustic guitar, right? I'm going to show you how to play it on this guitar because we're going to need this guitar once we drop into the pre-chorus and the chorus. We're using 3 chords, A major, just a bar here at the 2nd fret, E major, D. It's not really a full D, we're not getting down to the high E, so it's more of a D5 chord, and then back to A again, right? It's almost all downstrokes, the strumming pattern. When you go back to A, coming off that D, you're going to drop onto the sus here on the 3rd fret of the B string, very briefly, and then back off to the A chord again, right? And then start the whole thing over again. A, E major, D, A, ba, 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 right? And repeat. Repeat it 4 times, finishing on that A. We're going to drop into the pre-chorus, which is not actually going to lead into the chorus at this point. It's just going to lead right back into another verse. It's just a D bar chord at the 5th fret position off to an E major chord twice. Right? There's more than one guitar going on here. I think one of them may be going up to E here at the 7th fret position. Kind of like that, right? While the other guitar is going off to the neck position of the E. And maybe even catching the top 2 or 3 strings on the upstroke, right? They don't do that every time, but they do it every once in a while. Drops right back into another verse, 4 repeats. Repeated 4 times, coming off that A again, D off to E twice. This time it does lead into the chorus, right? So coming off that E, don't you know, back to D, then off to A, and then D to E twice. And then back to D, back to A, and then up to G, let that ring for a bar, back to D, as long as you are, back to E, and then D to E. ring, and the acoustic comes back in for the next verse, right? So that is the chorus, the pre-chorus and the chorus. D to E twice, and then back to D, off to A, and then D to E twice, and then back to D, and off to A, then up to G, and then back to D, and then off to E, and then E to D, or D to E, right? Back into the verse. Second verse, same as the first verse, leads into the pre-chorus again, back into the chorus, same as the first chorus, right? And coming out of the second chorus, that leads into the guitar solo. Great guitar solo by Mick Ralphs on this one, great classic solo. Goes a little something like this. There, we're soloing in the key of F sharp using the F sharp minor pentatonic pretty much exclusively. We're starting here on the 17th fret of the B string, 3 full step bends. Third one, give a little vibrato to, right? And then we're going to release that bend off to a double stop on the 14s of the G and the B, and then we're going to go up to 16 of the D string. And then you're going to repeat that, but the second time you're not going to hit the double stop. You're just going to hit a single note on the 14 of the G up to the 16 of the D, right? Kind of like that. The first one's a double stop, and the second one's a single note. Into this. So we're going to take that 16 that we just landed on, roll it down to the 16 of the G, off to 14 of the G, onto 16 of the D again, and roll it up to 16 of the A. And then hammer on 14 to 16 of the D string. Right into this. Just going right down the pentatonic, hammering on 14 to 16 of the A, 14, 16 of the D, down to 14 of the G, and then back to the 16 of the D. Right into 2 full step bends on the 16 of the G. The second bend, after you bend it, you're going to pick it 4 or 5 times quickly. Kind of like that. I think you're picking it 3 times. No, it's 4 times. Right into this. So off to the 14, back onto the 16, roll it up to the 16 of the D, right? And then back to 14, back onto 16, pull it back off to 14, finish on the 16 of the D, and slide out of it. Right, kind of like that. That's about the first half of the solo from the beginning. Nice and slow. Right, that's the first half of the solo. And then the second half starts like that, kind of sliding into 14 of the B string with your index, grab that very quickly, and then right onto 17 of the high E for 3 full step bends. Into that lick right there, coming off those 3 full step bends. So you're going to hit that again at the top, release it off to 14, and then grab the 17 of the B. And then you're going to bend that note again, and then back to the 14 of the high E. Kind of like that. And then you're going to do a little trill between 14 and 17, and then grab the 17 of the B, and then back to the 14 of the high E. Kind of like that, right? slide out of that note. And we finish the solo with this. So coming out of that slide, out of that 14, we're going to go right back into the 17 of the B string, pick it twice. The second time you're going to bend it. Repeat that 4 times, just bending that 17 of the B, grabbing the 14 of the high E. And then the final time you're going to pick it again, slide it back to 12. And do the same thing twice in this position on the 12 of the high E, bending the 15 of the B, right? And then you finish the entire solo with 2 full step bends on that 15 of the high E string. End of solo. That is how you play that solo. Let's take it from the top nice and slow, and then we'll be done. And that is the solo that leads right back into another chorus. D, E, don't you know that you are a shooting star? Up to G, back to D, back to E, D to E. Final verse. Right? Same as the first 2 or 3 verses. Leads into another pre-chorus chorus, and the final chorus just loops itself right until the end of the track. And that, my friends, is how you play Shooting Star by Bad Company. Certainly hope you enjoyed that, found it helpful. If you did, please hit that like button right down there. Maybe drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already, as that would be very kind and helpful to my channel. Hope you're well out there in your little guitar corner of the world, wherever that may find you, and we will see you next time. Cheers.